Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let's take a look at the topics we are going to cover. And like I promised you yesterday, there would be a lot of hopium to end the week. We're going to find out if I delivered. All right. So for the hopium, we're going to take a look at a couple of different things. We've got some Saylor comments, some Ricardo Salinas, Jamie Dimon, a little bit more knee bending is always fun to watch. The Fed puts out some creepy freaking comments. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, but we're definitely going to take a look. Paper Bitcoin summer, kind of empty. Yeah, that's right. We've got a mining win. Bitcoin mining continues to prove the haters wrong. And we always like to remind everybody about it. Good morning, Turbo. Good morning, Salty Crayon. That's right, guys. Happy Halloween. Happy White Paper Day, right? I'm always so terrible at the holidays. And in all fairness, I'm terrible with birthdays too and stuff like that. So I guess it's just par for the course, right? But yep, happy Bitcoin White Paper Day. I like that more than Halloween anyways. So kind of works out, right? All right. Also, we have a fail. That's right. I saw some comments from people saying, hey, Phil, I really missed the daily fail from the show you used to do. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to bring back the daily fail, but I think it's important that we make fun of the fails. So, right, some schadenfreude or fraud or whatever you want to, I can't pronounce that right. Also, we've got some cool stuff we're going to take a look at. Guys, before we do all of this, you know the deal. Shout out to the Pleb Underground sponsor. We're going to be right back. Let's frickin' go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right, it looks like we're getting. I'm getting some consensus here on White Paper Day over Halloween. So let's make it happen, right? Let's make it happen. Good stuff, Salty Crayon. All right, you know the deal, guys. We're gonna dive right into it. Here we go. The first one, right? The Golden Week. I got to be honest. I've never heard of this before. But hey, sounds great, right? Up and to the left. So why not, guys? Here we go. New all-time high above 160K by December. Not giving us a lot of time, huh? It's already October 31st. A month to 160. I don't think that's not doable, but we are going to need some serious freaking. We're going to need some serious hopium powder to make that happen. Like there's going to have to be, I think, such amazing news, like stars are going to have to align. However, I appreciate it. Let's freaking go. Okay. Michael Saylor. Here we go. A little more Saylor. So I don't know if you guys saw they're doing the earnings call today for MSTR. Stock's up a little bit, right? It's up like $15-16 or something like that. What I find really interesting about that, though, is the 20 people that he has on the Zoom call or whatever the hell he's using to essentially reinforce his position. Because unfortunately, right, it's not enough for him anymore to tell the story alone. There now needs to be the entourage that also supports it. And I mean, look, if you've ever seen any other earnings releases and stuff like that, it's usually just one person. In some cases, it's just remote. Some companies like Palantir, they're just using AI. But I do find it fascinating, the amount of entourage that needs to be there to tell you about how much money they earned. Yeah, if you didn't sell it, you didn't earn it. And anyways, okay, we're not going to keep going there. It doesn't matter. Bullish, 150K, just focus on that, right? Saylor's excited. He's focused on the 150K. Let's freaking go. All right, so this is the essentially, right, the title of the show for the day, right? Are the signs of a Bitcoin top in the room with us right now? And this is exactly how I'm feeling these days, right? I'm not feeling this like top action. We're not seeing these massive marketing campaigns for these, ridiculous exchanges paying outsized yields and whatnot. Like it's just like it's like a murmur at this point. Right? There isn't really anything going on. So yeah, if you take a look at this chart indicates to you that, guys, we're just building up to these massive spikes, right? These massive spikes that you see when Bitcoin hit all-time highs, right? We're not even there. So yeah, I still think the fireworks are still to come. Okay. More opium. Why not? Okay, next we're actually going to, here we go. Let's do some Ricardo Salinas Hopium, right? Richest, what is it? One of the richest people in the world, richest guy in Mexico. Let's see what he had to say about Bitcoin. He loves Bitcoin.
Personally, it's been a long journey. I started in 2013, so I'm very happy, of course, to be here. And a bit regretful that I didn't take it more seriously at the beginning. But the one...
Okay, sorry. He started in 2013. So guys, I just want you guys to keep this in consideration, right? He started in 2013 and he regrets not starting earlier. I'm telling you, okay? Everybody, I don't care who you are. Everybody's late to the party. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. So get over that feeling. Okay, get over that feeling and start to understand why Bitcoin's qualities are going to matter to your purchasing power and quite possibly your family's purchasing power into the future. Okay? We're all freaking laggards. Doesn't matter. Just get over that feeling. Stack your corn.
The message I would say to everybody else is it's still early. And Bitcoin is the ultimate hard asset. Maybe a combination of Bitcoin and gold will save your savings from this pernicious debasement that's going on across all the currencies, across all the countries.
Good solid hopium. Especially for, like, look, he doesn't even need it, right? Like, this is one of the things that I know that I've said, right? You know, that some of these people, they're so wealthy, they don't even need Bitcoin, right? Or they don't think they need Bitcoin. Maybe that's a little bit more accurate. Ricardo Salinas, man, good for you. No shame at all. You know, this guy's just out there stacking the corn and reminding people why they should do it. Of course, I can't help but remember that the clip I showed earlier this week of the guy who interviewed SBF, but now has interviewed Ricardo Salinas as like this ultra rich guy that's buying Bitcoin. It's kind of a negative omen, but it's okay. I've got faith in Ricardo Salinas not ending up like SBF. Okay, I've got faith in that. Okay, next up, let's hear. You know what? It's always nice to listen to Jamie Dimon cringe and kind of pull back. So let's hear him sing the praises just for a minute.
Crypto at one point, he was still skeptical.
I've gotten away with no damage so far. Crypto is real. It can mean blockchain, stable coins. You have a JP Morgan deposit coin. You can move stuff. Smart contracts are real. All that stuff is real. It will be used by all of us to facilitate, better transactions and customer service.
Okay, I just want to point out that there's a few Bitcoin news organizations that have framed that particular clip as Jamie Dimon supporting Bitcoin. You'll notice there wasn't a word that was said in there that said he supports Bitcoin. He supports stable coins. He supports blockchain. He supports anything that he can control and that JP Morgan can enforce. That's it. Full stop. These guys like him, like, they don't care about Bitcoin. Like, sure, if they can use it as a talking point, right? If they can use it as a, sorry, Z Logic, I remember this from yesterday, the yelling. If they can use it as a talking point in order to get you, right, to give them your money, then they're going to do it. That's all there is to it. There's nothing there's no magic behind that, right? So it's, the reason why I like to show these clips is just because I like to remind people that these guys, they are not the friends of Bitcoin. However, I do enjoy the mental gymnastics that they have to do as a result of Bitcoin existing. And we should all enjoy that, right? Why not? Why shouldn't we enjoy that? Okay. We've got one more video, and then we're going to take a look at some more Hopium charts. I told you guys today was going to be solid freaking Hopium. Yeah, Z Logic, absolutely right. I love how BTC normalized talking. It's true because now there's a proper meter stick. This was one of the big problems that we had before, right? There's no meter stick. Everything's constantly moving. You had nothing to point to. Now we do. 21 million. That's it. That's all they'll ever be. Okay. If these comments from the Fed, from Jerome Powell, don't make you, number one, bullish about Bitcoin, number two, possibly worried about a dystopian future, I don't know what to tell you, but it's like we've come to that point where the Band-Aid is ripped off. I just want to rephrase. It's more than just borrowing from future generations. They have borrowed already extensively. Like we're not even, you know what? He's going to say borrow. I'm going to just call it what it is. Stealing. It's outright theft. That's all it is. Yeah, exactly. Z-Logic. Just fucking stolen, man. That's all it is. And I remember figuring that out when I was like 18, 19, and I'm like, how could you do this? Like all this just be, and for real, right? This is all just greed and the desire for power and control. So you steal from a bunch of people that aren't even born yet. And now we're getting to see, you know, what has actually grown out of that soil, right? And we've got generations of people who can't even afford to freaking dream. Okay. Like I genuinely feel bad for Gen Zs and Gen Alphas and stuff like that. Like it's like their dreams are too expensive at this point. You know, like that's what the fuck is that? You know, and these grandparents are all happy, right? With like, you know, all of their assets. Well, guess what? You stole from all of these generations for years, and now you're stuck having to pay it all back, right? What does it make a difference to have all of these assets if it costs $1 million for a loaf of bread? Nonsense. This is just stupid. Anyways, still bullish on Bitcoin. Let's fucking go. Okay. Next, what do we got? Okay, we're gonna do a Hopium chart here from Wicked. Everybody's really mad at the Apple lately, right? Well, not everybody, but the Knots supporters. They're definitely mad at him. But you know what? Regardless of what he thinks about Bitcoin or whatever side he takes, I appreciate these charts. I appreciate the bullishness, and on a day like today, this is what I want. So, if you look through the comments, staying in this channel looks like it upsets both sides equally. Bulls upset it doesn't break out to the upside. Bears upset it doesn't break out to the downside. Max pain. And you know what? I'm going to agree with him on this one. It is max pain for a lot of people. I do know some people who are just absolutely, every time Bitcoin dips, it's going to zero. Every time it goes up, it's going straight to the moon. Look, that type of thinking, it doesn't actually serve you. It just creates anxiety, right? Like that's what it is, right? A person who constantly thinks about the future is most likely often anxious. A person who constantly focuses on the past is more often depressed. Okay, so this whole cycling of all of that stuff, like it's like, no, okay, like you don't need to do this to your brain. Okay, every time Bitcoin goes down, it doesn't mean it's going to zero. Every time it goes up, it doesn't mean that that's it. It's going straight to the moon. Okay, like this is the type of thinking, right, that tires people out. It burns them out, and then eventually you end up seeing some really terrible moves like, that's it, I'm out. You know, some of the best investors in history didn't sell, and I'm not even talking about Bitcoin. I'm just talking about any kind of asset. They didn't sell, or they died, and they couldn't sell. They became the best investors. It's just something to think about, right? In terms of holding and in terms of not doing anything, right? Just staying there. One of the hardest things we can do is actually staying in place. Okay, enough with the moral lessons. We are going to move on. Oh, look, I can put like a Halloween pack. Look, we're going to bring this skeleton guy over here. Going to hang out with us for a bit. Skeleton dude. Okay, let's take a look at the Paper Bitcoin Summer. Let's do it. Everybody's excited about Paper Bitcoin Summer. Not doing too well if you're holding those shares. Oh, wait, you know what? I had some more Hopium. Okay, before we get into Paper Bitcoin Summer, do some more Hopium here. Venezuela to integrate Bitcoin and stablecoins into the banking system, and indeed, they actually mentioned Bitcoin on its own. So that's actually I'm happy. I'm happy about that, right? It wasn't just the framing of, you know, stable coins and crypto, right? It's actually like, no, they specifically mentioned Bitcoin and separated it from crypto. So anyways, Venezuela kind of has a bit of a problem with that, right? A little bit of an inflation problem, a little bit of loss of purchasing power. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Bitcoin how Bitcoin ends up working in Venezuela. I think it's going to be just fine, but it's just, we're going to live and learn. Okay. Paper Bitcoin summer. Let's do it, guys. Nordic Bank, Nordea, anyways, to offer Bitcoin ETFs to customers starting in December. Nordea previously banned all employees, I'm pretty sure it's Nordea, previously banned all employees from owning Bitcoin in June. Wow, that was a quick wash, huh? One side to the other. Okay. So they've decided to allow customers to trade in an extremely manufactured, this is great, in an externally manufactured crypto-linked product. God bless you. Externally manufactured. Talk about, it just sounds like garbage. Anyways, the new product is manufactured by CoinShares. The product is and this part just makes it sound even worse. The product is a so-called synthetic ETP. I'm for some reason reminded about the mortgage crisis and like synthetic products. Anyways, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. A product category that gives investors the opportunity to get exposure to different asset types through traditional financial instruments. This ETP has Bitcoin as the underlying asset and is aimed at experienced investors seeking alternative asset exposure. Okay, so they do say that Bitcoin is the underlying asset. I am very curious to see what the actual requirements are going to be, right? Like how much Bitcoin do they actually have to hold in relation to the shares that they issue? Yeah, exactly, Salty Crayon. 97% of its value. Some would say that, we're not far behind all those other countries like Argentina and Venezuela. But people are still, the US dollar is still king-ish, Yeah. I'm sorry that he lost your trust. I know the feeling, but I still appreciate his charts. So, okay. Let's see what we got next. All right, let's go take a look at. Hey, there we go. We got a mining win, guys. Mining win. Canaan Inc., publicly traded company, by the way, guys, announces a 4.5 megawatt contract in Japan to deploy its Avalon hydro-cooled Bitcoin mining servers for real-time grid balancing and energy optimization. Led by a major regional utility, the facility will use Canaan's smart control chip to dynamically adjust voltage, frequency, and hash rate, helping stabilize the power grid and improve efficiency by late 2025. Good stuff, Canaan. So this is actually one of the pieces of Bitcoin, specifically proof of work, specifically mining, that has become attractive, right? Has become attractive to individual states. I mean, I don't know about, in this case, right? It is a government, but the reason why I'm saying this is in the U.S., Texas has really been taking advantage of this, and we've actually seen some pretty good results out of Texas with this, right? Being able to help out the grid and balance, right, and balance the voltage. So this is actually pretty good. And hey, guess what? When the electricity isn't being used, the miners are using it, so they're getting paid for that too. So the utilities. You know what? Maybe right now you're not hearing about this, but at some point we are going to hear about this. The utilities, right, that allow miners to come in and deploy their facilities, they're going to start to make more money because that energy is no longer being wasted. Now, all of a sudden, that energy is accounted and paid for. So I do think that's a win, Solid stuff on the mining. Okay. All right, guys, we're moving on. Don't worry. We are moving on, moving and shaking. All right, let's go have a laugh. Let's go have a laugh at the fail. What do you say? So who is the fail for today? Simplex chat. So I was told to install Simplex chat by privacy-focused people that I know and trust. They were all like, it's the best, it's better, da-da-da. It doesn't, they don't track any of your data. It's not like Signal. It's not captured. TLDR. We're going to make a shitcoin. This is why Simplex chat needs to use a decentralized blockchain to achieve growth. Okay, so look, that's just bullshit. Okay, that is just absolutely bullshit. When you can't take the time to figure out how to monetize your offering, okay, this is what happens when you give up. This is what happens when you wave the white flag and you say, I've given up. We're going to make a shit coin, and hopefully you're going to buy it because you like us enough. This is just garbage. Signal did the same thing. They shot themselves in the foot with this, metaphorically, of course, not advocating for violence. They shot themselves in the foot, and now it looks like Simplex chat said, hey, we want to make things harder too. How do we hobble ourselves? Someone's like, I've got an idea. Let's shoot ourselves in the foot the same way Signal did. Let's do some of that. Not a good look, Simplex chat. Not a good look. Okay, moving on to the cool stuff. Here we go. Let's start off with, I just want to give a shout out to these guys, right? The Lightning Piggy Bank. I always appreciate projects like this. For the people who have known me for a while, you know that I like to mess around with microcontrollers. I did the Lightning pinball machine, right, where essentially you pay a Lightning invoice. At the time, I think it was like something like 20 sats or 30 sats or something like that. Anyways, you pay the invoice, and what happens is that it activates the relay that I had installed on a gumball machine, and it allows the gumballs to, come flying out. So it lights up, the gumballs come down, you get your candy. Anyways, the whole point is that I enjoy these tinkering type of projects. These are the types of projects that, for me, right, who is not a coder per se, but knowledgeable enough to run some code, to edit some code, and to make some things work. This was a low barrier to entry for me to start enjoying Bitcoin in a more technical way. Now, I'm not talking about Lightning Piggies per se. I'm talking about the Lightning Gumball machine that I made, but I also did a little price sticker. And this is just super cool. This is, again, the same type of concept, right? They're using microcontrollers, and they're doing these fun little piggy banks. And it's a great little intro even for your kids. And here, hold on a second, guys. Let me show you some of the cool stuff that this is for me. Like, these are some of the cases that people made. I mean, you guys have already seen that one, right? So here, it gives you an idea of how big it is. It's just a microcontroller that's installed there, like, so people understand. Like, there's no actual coins in the piggy bank, right? It's Bitcoin. So, just making sure people understand. But they're showcasing some of the designs that people made, right? You can have a slick little square box. Doesn't have to be in the shape of a pig. Look at this one. Looks like it's made out of wood. I mean, that's pretty cool. And they give you the files, everything, right? Like how to make it. Look at this one. This one I actually am contemplating building myself. The Lightning Piggy block lamp. That's pretty cool. Look at this. What even is that? The Lego block. Come on, this is great stuff. Anyways, so yeah, big fan of these projects, right? If you want to get into coding, or you just want to get into tinkering with electronics, these are great little intro projects to do. And I can tell you from my experience, I had a lot of good help from people in the community. All right, let's go with the cool stuff. Further on, did you know that there was a Bitcoin board game? I didn't know there was a Bitcoin board game. Age of Bitcoin, the board game. This looks very cool. And yeah, I do have some up closer pictures here. You guys can see what this thing looks like. This is very cool stuff. I mean, look, one of my friends tried to get me into Catan. Also, a friend and a coworker tried to get me into Catan like 10, 15 years ago, something like that. I don't know. Beyond a certain age, I just kind of stopped caring about board games. But especially today, seeing how many people spend their time just online, right? Even myself, it's like, you know what? Maybe board games should be cool again, right? Maybe we should get into board games again. Anyways, let's take a look at how they made this. Let's get some more shots. I mean, this is pretty extensive, right? It's like, look at all the moving parts to this thing. This is no joke. This is like Monopoly on steroids. But yeah, it looks very cool. These people look like they're having fun. I might be interested to try it. What about you guys? Hey, there you go. Absolutely. I'm also a fan of the exercise in the morning. Exercise every morning, except for the weekends. The weekends are like my cheat days, right? Where you just do nothing. But anyways, yeah, so look, the game, good stuff, great work. Where are they here? There we go. Great work. Age of Bitcoin board game. If you guys are interested, of course, as you know, all of this is in the show notes, guys. Have a great weekend. This is going to do it for Pleb Underground today. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, and if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing. And yeah, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you all on Monday. Should be some fireworks on Monday, right? November, that's it. We're hitting the crunch point, guys. 8 weeks. That's it. This is it. It's the home run stretch. Bitcoin going to do what we think it's going to do, or are we going to extend this rally into 2026? Or is it over and now we have to wait 4 more years? Or is the 4-year cycle dead? Nobody knows. Anyways, all right, guys, have a good one. Take it easy. Happy Halloween, but most importantly, happy Bitcoin White Paper Day. Without this, without Satoshi, without the white paper, we would not be able to stand on the shoulders of giants. Okay? Remember that. Take it easy, guys.